It's a collection of my helicopters. It's a piece of shit Blade 400 which I've rebuilt too many times and don't want to fly anymore because it's junk. There is a HK 450 with an aligned canopy, a Hobby King 2.4 gig receiver which works just as good as my AR 6200s. Never had a problem with it. Has epoxy HK GY401 rip-off gyro which works excellent. I use a high-tech HB65 servos which have been refitted with metal gears. This is some Komakuza branded alloy head. It's perfectly balanced, works excellently. Hobby King 3D blades which never come balanced, so I bought about 10 and managed to match pairs up with about a 1.5 gram difference at worst between blades. And you might see here, maybe not, there's a lot of tape on that. This was a project I started a long time ago. That is a UH-1 Huey. Unfortunately the rotor blade clipped the tail boom and it fell out of the sky and it did some damage, and basically had to cut off that. So contemplating binning this fuselage unless somebody wants to contact me and they can have it for a very special price. But I purchased the proper scale UH-1 head. It works excellently. I've tried it on a bare chassis and it works very well. Subject to belief, the blade grip's pulled down for positive pitch. You might see some guys on HK harping on about having to change this part for a different type of link for binding. That's absolute bollocks. You pull the links down for positive pitch and there's no binding issues, and full up is about -1 degree, so don't listen to that guy on Hobby King. This is my HK 450, has a genuine align alloy head. It's in a KDS MD 500E body and it's very good quality, and it only cost $59 or something from Hobby King. Very good. And I have a scale 5-blade rotor head. This is a Lightning Heli one. No, it's not. I've got a Lightning Heli one. This one is from, I can't remember where it was, but it was about $117. Not cheap, but I'm yet to set that up. And here we have my Trex 600 Nitro Pro. Done about 20 flights in it, flies excellently, it's awesome, probably the best helicopter I've got. And I've fitted a high definition camera that records in 780p. You'll see a couple of my other videos on YouTube. Still trying to work out where to mount it the best and get the best angles and stuff. So that's actually my header tank bracket. I decided to use heavy duty Velcro to mount the header tank, because they don't really give you anywhere to mount it in there, so that's why it's mounted that way. But that works excellently. There's actually a bolt for the pivot point and heavy duty aligned Velcro straps hold it on excellently. And last but not least, my Trex 700E. It's been nothing but trouble so far. First speed controller blew up the first time I even plugged it in. Smoke came out of this end, which it shouldn't have, so they replaced that, no problem. 3G stabilizer system in it, fly barless of course, excellent, perfect stability. Now with the motor, after a minute of idle up, it puts itself into reverse, so it spins and I've got to auto rotate to the ground. So again, there's a problem with this Castle HV speed controller, which is not been the best controller I've ever used, but it does have data logging in it, which is excellent. So yeah, there you go, and that's how you blow about $6 grand on helicopters. including a couple of others out in the shed which are in various states of repair due to either crashes or project work. And give me 2 seconds. Here is another one of my projects, which is a Trex 600E. It's actually it's a HK ripoff, GT600, and I've been flying this for about 6 months, doing hard 3D. Goes very well. Turnigy 100 amp speed controller, doesn't even get hot. Turnigy T600 motor, excellent power. Gets a little bit warm for my liking, but it's not hot, which is okay. Got a 15 amp Turnigy, I think it's 15 amp, 8 amp, sorry, BEC, that works fine, no issues with voltage. Now I'm trying out the KDS piece of junk. I bought this about a year ago, couldn't get it working because the instructions are crap and you really have to understand what you're doing with it. The ground hold mode with the camera doesn't work very well, wouldn't waste my time with it, but the stabilizer actually works very well. I've actually got a, I don't know if you can see that, that's a GY611 Futaba gyro and controller. I use an external one for the 3D. I'm removing that and I'm going to put my faith into the KDS gyro. Basically I'm building an FPV platform, and this is just going to be to test it. If it works well, then I will replace this helicopter with something better. So that's it. And I brought a 2.4 GHz camera system and an Eagle Tree Systems on-screen display for the Pro version with the GPS. So there you have it. That's my collection. Oh, and of course, swear by it, DX8 radio gear, wouldn't buy anything else, never in a day. That is the best radio I've ever used, and it's easy to use. And of course, my old original TX6, which I learned to fly with, very good radio, but has its limitations. One of the many jets I have, started building it, couldn't be bothered finishing it, so there it stays. So yeah, there you go, that's my collection. And here is the epoxy shell that goes on my HK600. Yes, I'm a cheap prick, but that's what I learnt to fly with my first 600 size helicopter. Not bad. Swash plate's junk, you've got to throw it away. I've actually just replaced it with a Robo swash plate. Not designed for this heli, but it's intended to be for stable flight and no 3D, so that's where it's at. Any comments, leave positive. If they're negative, I don't really give a shit. I'm just sharing my hobby with the rest of the world.